Hey guys, here's this really beat up newer Bulova I found. We're going to do a lot of work to this. Unfortunately, during the process of this video, I had to order some parts and they took a while to get here, and some of my video was corrupted, so this video is kind of going to suck. So there's a lot of footage that's missing, or I had to redo footage. So you might see some stuff that's weird, like the dial being on, and then the next scene the dial's not on. That's because I was redoing some of the footage, but hopefully everything's good. So we'll get these case clamps on out of here and get this plastic movement ring. This is a Miyota 8200 movement, and they're pretty common. To be honest, I don't think I want to work on these. This has a single plate. So underneath this rotor here, that one plate does the barrel. Oh, so here's how you unwind the power. I didn't realize that the first time I took it apart. But there's only one bridge, it covers the barrel, the all of it. The keyless, the ratchet wheel, uh, the reverse. Well, actually, there's no reversing wheel because the rotor only winds in one direction. But it does all the train wheels. Um, the only thing that's got a separate bridge is the pallet fork and the balance. Everything else is one bridge. I didn't like that. It's not super difficult to put together. I'll show you some tricks later on in the video on how I did that. Here you can see this is where all the wheels go in the correct orientation. I originally put the crown wheel on, backwards, upside down, but I show you in the video later on the correct way. It is the correct way here. This is actually the second time this watch came apart, and here is the first time. I took it back apart anyway because I was gonna replace the mainspring, and I just went ahead and ordered the mainspring and barrel assembly. It was cheaper to buy the barrel and mainspring than it was to buy just the mainspring. Why? I don't know. But um, so here we are. This is just a quick time lapse of pulling all the parts out there first time. I lost the microscope footage. I have another camera, but things happen. So I tried to do my best to edit this mess of a video so you could follow it along if you were working on one of these 8200s. Yeah, mainly just the train of wheels is what I lost. I have the whole dial side. Here we are taking the balance out. And I'll just tap the movement just a little bit and it'll pop right out. You don't want to stretch that spring. That spring is very delicate. And if you try to lift it without doing that, if its balance staff is stuck, it will stretch that spring. So here's the balance assembly I ordered online, and we're gonna go ahead and replace it. And we're just gonna, lube up this arbor. It should be oiled on the inside. I didn't take it apart. Hopefully it's oiled on the inside. But I'll put some 1300 on the arbor pivots, and we'll drop it back down in there and put this back together. So as you can see, that's where all the wheels go. I don't have footage of putting the wheels in their holes, but you could figure that out from there. Actually, the first time I took this, I had to figure it out. The first time I took this watch apart, I didn't know how to take the power reserve out of it. And when I took this first bridge off, not realizing it was the only bridge, all the parts flung. So that was fun. So here we are reinstalling this bridge. As you can see, the dials on there. So like what I like to do is just use an oiler and go through some of these holes and push down. So we line the pivots up there, you see. And I'll go ahead and I'm not going to tighten this screw. I'm just going to start it. I'm going to start this screw and the one above it. And that's just to hold the plate from sliding back and forth. Now, for me to be able to get to these other pivots easily, I'm going to have to take the balance out, because I don't want to damage or risk damaging the balance or hairspring. So I'll hold very light pressure, and then I'll take this clean oiler and move these parts around until the pivots line up with the jewels. And keep in mind that I've got screws very loosely but started on the other side. That allows me to kind of pivot it without messing anything up on the other side. So there we go. We got it lined up, and we're just going to go through and tighten all 3 of these bridge screws. You might hear my dogs in the background, but don't worry about them. They like to make noise. They're all huskies, so if you got huskies, you know. If you don't, they like to scream or, pitter patter or make yelling noises. So here we go. We're going to line that balance stuff up in that lower pivot, turn it so it lines up, and get the balance cock here. And I noticed when I did this right here, the balance cock got stuck on my tweezers. I was like, what the hell? All right, so here we go. We got that. And yeah, it should just kick right up as soon as we get these holes aligned here. Those are the words I'm looking for. So yeah, we've got these studs here that go in those 2 holes on the sides of the bolt hole, screw hole, and then yeah, so we got that. We'll put the screw down in there and tighten her up slowly, watching the balance, making sure. But once it's rotating, once it's oscillating back and forth like this, you're like 95% that the balance staff is seated correctly, and you're not going to break anything. I'll go ahead and put some wind in this and we'll see. Yeah, so that definitely helped. The mainspring before was slipping. So you could wind it, and once you wound it a certain amount, you could feel it just release all the tension inside the barrel. I've had that happen before. Sometimes it's just damage on the spring or the barrel itself. I just, like I said, went ahead and replaced both. So here we go. So this is after everything's been oiled. I know you didn't see any of that, but trust me, it got done. This is oiled and regulated, and the second time it's been together with the new mainspring. So, 0.10 beat error, that's not bad, 2 seconds a day. Dial up, dial down, I was getting about 30 plus seconds a day. But, that's pretty good, I'd say. The amplitude shows a little low here, but dial up, dial down, I was getting like 280. Still kind of low, but it's good enough. I'm happy with it. I'm not sure what these would run. I would think they'd be over 300 new, but maybe there was some there's some issues on one of the pivots I didn't see under the microscope. So we got this rotor. Like I said before, this rotor only winds the watch in one direction. It's a unidirectional wind. Some of them will wind the watch up if they rotate both directions. This one free spins one of the directions, and you'll see here when I get the screw in, I'll spin it around for you. So that's free spinning, and the other direction winds it. Okay, so now we're back to with the dial off. This is the first assembly before what you just seen. This came out of the parts cleaner. It wasn't very clean. I got a Q-tip with some IPA and just wiped it down. So here, these are just the parts going on the dial side, first assembly. I do actually kind of like the setting lever spring design. It was really easy. Sometimes they're a pain, but this is like all one piece. I feel like it could break easily. It's very thin, but it lined up well. That's probably 1300 right there. I would say, yeah, that's 1300 going on all these pivots. All the other stuff basically gets 9010. That'll get 9501, the blue grease. Yeah, so that's the 9501. I need to get some more stuff. I want to get some new greases and more variety. I've got like 6, but I need more. This is a clever little hold down too, and relatively easy to put on. I was surprised. Now the screw, on the other hand, does not want to go into the hole that it came from. It's too good for its home. That's all right. We're gonna force it there. Well, all this editing, I didn't take that out. That's all right. You get to see the struggles. All right, so this is the crown. I had to buy this stem also that was missing a stem and a crown. I'm not super happy with the crown I ended up putting on this watch. The crown's kind of small. It's hard to grab. For now, it's fine. It works. It seals. It winds. It sets the time. You can pull it if you like grab it real tight. But I'm gonna try and find an original crown. Yeah. So this is all 8200 there on the cannon pinion. These are just for the offset wheel or offset hands. Sorry, so that one's the second hand. Sorry, no, that one's the AM PM hand. Yeah, AM PM hand, and it basically has a 12 at the bottom for noon and a 24 for midnight. I think that's correct. That's at least that's how I've been using it. This clutch system here, it's very weird and abnormal, and like I said, this is the first time I put this together, and I can feel an issue, so I'm kind of like checking this out. Where's the tension? Hmm. you know it's felt like it was slipping, so turns out I had this wheel right here in there backwards the first time around, so that's got a little indent. That's got to go down. You want that to be this direction. Yeah, that is the correct way. If you don't put it in that way, everything will work, except for when you try to wind the watch, it will slip. Alright, so yeah, everything's cool now. Go ahead and put this dial side bridge on. More like a cover, not really. Just hold the stuff down, and really, I don't know. But yeah, so these little tapered holes are where the screws go. Yeah, I'm not a big fan. I mean, this movement, I'm sure it's reliable, but like, I'm not a big fan of working on it. It was, I don't want to say cheap, but like, it definitely isn't high quality. I mean, I'm sure it's good because just manufacturing tolerances and stuff are good nowadays. It's got jewels in it, so it's fine. But like, compared to some of the vintage Swiss movements I like, work on most of the time in the channel, this is the first new watch I've ever opened. Um, and I don't really like it. I don't like it. Maybe it's just Bulova. Maybe it's just the Miyota movements. I don't know. NH35s though, those low end Seiko movements, I kind of feel the same way about those, and they have a lot of plastic in them. At least this watch didn't have any plastic in it, so. Alright, yeah, so here we're going to set this. This is going to be midnight. And at midnight, we're going to set the other hand to the 24 marker. So the hour hand, the minute hand, and the 24 marker hand have to all be even. And then this one doesn't matter. You can just put the seconds hand on anywhere. Yeah, so we'll rotate, make sure the hands aren't going to hit nothing. And make sure that all the hands are lining up properly. So yeah, this would be, what, 4 a.m.? Yeah. Because 24 is midnight, it's 4 a.m. Yeah. So this is just a dry cotton swab. I'm just going to clean these up here. So up close on the case. So this case is really, really scratched. This watch was in way worse condition than I was shown during the auction that I bought it on. This is the dial. I didn't even see, or sorry, the glass. I didn't even see any scratches on the glass from the pictures. I bought it from the auction. Yeah, bamboozled. So anyway, I had to order glass for this watch too. And the first time I ordered glass, it was the wrong size. It says it's not, but whenever you actually measure it, it's a different size than what the package said. So I had to order another one, and the second time it came in, it was correct. So now I've got spare glass. This is just this green Dilux polish on my Dremel. Max speed, I don't know what the RPM is that, but I'm not really trying to polish the watch that much. I'm just trying to take the light scratches out of it, and then later on after that I end up going over it with a fine polishing Cape Cod like cloth. So here we go. We've got this glass, and this one's the one that was too small, and then we found the correct one after like 2 more weeks of waiting for parts. I like to use these dies here that just like they're almost perfectly the right size, just slightly too small, and that will give you the least chance of breaking anything. New glass is in, very clean, very nice. Okay, we're gonna pop this on here. You can see there's still some scratches on there, but that thing looks pretty good. All right, so this crown is too small. Crown's way too small. It's the only one I had that would fit the case tube. It's fine. We'll order a new one. Yeah, I got a Bandom arm because I got injured. Um, yep. I wear a lot of yellow in this video. Different shirts. So, yeah, this is pretty cool. I mean, skeleton dial and whatnot. Here's how it turned out. New band, new glass, new crown stem, new mainspring, new barrel. Polished everything up. Yeah, that was a lot of work. Missing half the footage. Here you go. 2 months late. Should have been sooner. This got the deployant clasp on the back of it, and it was pretty scratched up too. I also polished it. You didn't see the video of that because it was missing. But yeah, branded even. It's got the Bulova Accutron symbol on there. Thanks for watching, guys. If you liked, please like, subscribe, check out my other videos. They don't suck as bad. Yeah, so cool.